Hey guys, welcome to Laurie's Little Studio. I'm Laurie and today we are going to work on a crochet project. So to make this headband, I've got 2 skeins of yarn that I bought yesterday at Hobby Lobby. This is the Blue Stone, and I don't recall the color name of this, but it's kind of a purpley gray. So I'll be making one for my oldest daughter Candice and one for my youngest daughter Jessica. You know, this will definitely be a good medium to lightweight braided headband. So we're going to need to make 5 double crochet pieces, and they will be 60 inches long and 1 double crochet wide. And I am not a pro crochet person. I taught myself how to crochet when I was in home ec, and that was many years ago. I truly did teach myself how. I wasn't taught and I wasn't guided, and everything you are about to see could be absolutely incorrect, but it has worked for me for a number of years. So the way that I do this is, and this is new to me, I've never had a wooden handled crochet hook before. It's kind of odd. But the way I do this beginning chain is I just hold this in my hand. I use my right hand to loop over this loop that I've created. I just pinch it like so, loop over, push this through, pull it up, and just hook through. And then I want to make sure that this little tail is in my right hand. It's not going to get in the way. I will then loop over my pinky, wrap around these 2 fingers, and then come back around my pointer finger. So just kind of like that. It's quite elegant. Loopity loopity loop. Okay. And to make a chain, the way I do it is I go from the front to the back. I have seen people go this way. I don't know how they do that. I can't wrap my head around this. So I go like so. I will occasionally need to be able to twist this hook to hook onto this piece of yarn. So I need to be able to do that. That's 1 chain right there. And again, I'm going to go from the front to the back and pull it through. That's 2. And we have to do 60. 3, 4, 8, 9, 10. And I want to show you what these look like. There are little V's on the bottom, and there is a ridge on the top. This is considered the pretty side, and this is considered the not so pretty side. I happen to find them equally pretty. So that's what you will be left with. Okay, so I've done 10. If I had to put this down and walk away and do something, and then I was going to come back to it, I would make sure that I had a way to remember where I was. So if you can just be, your supplies when you're crocheting should include a piece of paper, something to write with. Pencils are great because they won't smear and get on your work. So I have completed, and I need, so I've completed 10 chain, but I need 60 chain. So that's what I do right there. Now when I come back from doing the laundry or taking bread out of the oven or talking to my sister on the phone or any other things that, you know, might need my attention or something I want to do, I will cross this off and just leave it. When this has been done, I will cross it off. Okay, so that can just kind of hang out over there, and you're also going to need either scissors that you like to use for yarn. You can use bigger scissors, you can use little scissors. Okay, so I have completed 10 chains. I'm back. I'm going to scratch my 10 off and continue. 11, 12, 13, and I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, I have completed 60, so I will now scratch that off. All done. All right, so the next step in this project is we're now going to go back over the top of our foundation stitch, which is this chain right here. That would be your foundation stitch, or part of your project. It's just the foundation. It's what everything else is going to be built upon. Okay. So the next step in this process is to, first of all, recognize that this on the hook isn't considered a stitch. It's part of the process, but we're not going to call it a stitch. We're going to go back to the stitch that this one isn't part of. So we're going to go to this stitch right here. So we're just going to kind of bend into it right here. We're going to loop over our thread or yarn the same way that we did when we were making a chain. So we're going to grab up some yarn and we're going to push through that stitch. I like to push through on the little V side, but a lot of people prefer to do that on the little bumpy side. It creates this right here, then becomes the bottom of the project, and people think it looks pretty. So if you want to try that, you still have to pick up some of your yarn and then look for, I'll show it to you right here with the hook. Let me pull this through. So you're going to look for this bump right here. I think you can see that. It's exactly opposite of the V on the other side. So we'll grab some yarn and push the hook. I'm so happy that I finally quit calling it a needle. Okay, and then to complete a double stitch, we then grab more yarn and come up through 2. I'm going to do that again. I was too busy thinking about what I was saying. Okay, so we're done making the chain. Loop through your yarn and hold it with your forefinger, and then whichever method you choose to use, I'm going to go ahead and just continue with the little bumpy side. Push it through just one yarn like that, and then pick up some more yarn and pull that through 1 and 2, and then you'll pick up more yarn and pull it through the remaining 2. That is your first double stitch. Okay, let's try it again. So here we are. We're going to loop through to pick up yarn, hold it with our forefinger, and then go into this little bumpy, this little bumpy part right here, and pick up some more yarn, pull through, pull through, pick up more yarn, and pull through the remaining 2. It's funny how hard it is to do these awkward stitches when you're trying to go slow, but once you develop a rhythm, it's really simple. This is what it should look like right here. This is what the bottom looks like because I'm going through the bumpy part, and there's the top, so they match, which is kind of nice. And the one thing to kind of remind yourself, if this is your first opportunity to crochet something, when you're doing a double stitch, you're going to start, of course, with this one right here on your hook. Then you're going to grab up some more thread, and I find that the control right here with this pointer finger is pretty important. I'm going to go through that little bump right there and grab some more yarn and pull it through. I should not have 3 when my stitch is almost done. I should only have 2, so I know I have to go through it again and then go through these 2. So it is a process of going through 2 to get to this point. So I know I'm going to come through, and then through 2. So I'll always be going through 2, which is easy to remember if you think of it in terms of double. It's a double stitch, so I know I have to go through 2 stitches, 2 loops, 2 times, making it kind of a weird double, like so. So I'm at the end of the 4th. We need a total of 5. So I'm going to show you on the 5th one how I am doing this particular project. And let me finish up what I have here. This purpley gray yarn is, I'm crocheting it up in one way, and the blue, the blue yarn that I have right here, I'm going to crochet in a slightly different method to do the same basic headband. And then there's a third way that you can do this project that I'll just sort of discuss as we go along. And the third way would be, if you're not familiar with how to crochet certain stitches, or if you don't have a crochet hook, but you would like to make one of these headbands, I will show you how to do that as well. I need to finish off this end right here. And I'm just using a plastic tapestry needle for this step. There we go. We just want all of the ends to be pretty tightly buttoned up. Like this right here just came undone. So I'm just going to stitch it together using my tapestry needle. And this will basically disappear into the back of the project. That was unfortunate. It's the first time that's happened to me, but you know, things happen. I'm just kind of messy weaving this end closed, and then I'm going to go back over here toward the tail, and this is where I actually started my chain, so I can tie this into a knot. And now a lot of the headbands that you might see out on other channels, I think usually end up with a thicker band. Well, I made one using a thick band. Each of the 5 were basically the width of 2 of these, and it was, honest to goodness, just a little bit too bulky, and I just felt like I wanted to try it with a little bit more narrow strip. So I'll have one more after I finish this, and we'll end up braiding these. So obviously the headband itself will be about this wide plus one more, which I feel like is wide enough. I just kind of feel like a little bit just doesn't, I just don't think it needs to be as wide as the original that I made using this yarn. If you follow me or if you watch my videos, you know what I used this thick and chunky Lion brand yarn for. It's very large and very clunky and very cute, just a little bit difficult to wear, and it's been stretching every time I put it on and take it off, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So I'm going to pop it in the dryer and see if I can't kind of shrink out some of the stretch that's occurred. But let me pick up this piece, or this crochet hook that just decided to fall on the floor. Let's look at this for just a second. So we have the little V's on this side, and we have the little V's on this side, and we have kind of a single slant stitch in between the two. Now I'm going to tell you right now, I am not a practiced, seasoned crochet person. I taught myself. I've been crocheting basically the same few stitches that I've kind of worked out all by myself since I was in home ec. So basically what I'm saying is, if I call a stitch one thing and it is something else, that is very likely going to happen. This stitch right here, I do it very deliberately, in a very deliberate fashion, and I've called it a baby double stitch, but I don't think that's its real name. I have no idea what the stitch is called. I tried to look it up and I thought maybe it was a moss stitch or a linen stitch, and it's not. So I'm going to continue to call it a baby double stitch. If you do not have a crochet hook and you want to do this project, you can simply chain your yarn using this method. It might take you a while, but make 60 chains like this, and when you get to the end, just stop and then make another one and another one, so that you have 3, and then braid those 3 together and set that aside, and that equals 1 of these. When you have 5 of these, then you can do a 5 braid, which I will show how I do with your literally hand crocheted strands. So okay, the other thing I wanted to tell you is, when I start working on this headband, I'm going to do it differently. And I think rather than having you wait, what I decided to do, I'm going to try to find the end. I remember back in the old days when I was a little kid, yeah, you could find the interior strand to pull out really pretty easily. And that's the way I prefer to do it, because it rolls out so much better. So I'm going to make my loop. And remember, the blue doesn't have anything to do with this project up here. I just want to show you 2 different stitches to get this. Okay, so I am now going to make a chain of 60. Okay, and if you've stitched your beginning foundation part and you think to yourself, oh, that's too long, you can remove a few. But I'm going to take one that I've finished and I'm going to measure against it. And I mean, I can see if I stretch it out, I think it needs at least 3 more chains. 1, 2, 3. And let's measure it again. Yes, okay. All right, so we're going to put the needle back in. And again, I'm still going to go right into that hoop on the back. I don't want to go into the V. All right, and then I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to pull through. And then I'm going to yarn over again, pull through these 2, yarn over and pull through these 2. Now all of a sudden that probably felt really kind of complicated and like, what was that? I understand. So we'll do it again. So here I am. In fact, I'm just going to undo what I did so that you can see it from the beginning. All right, so I've finished making my chain. I'm going to yarn over, which is just from the front, pick up this yarn. I hold it with my forefinger. I've always done that. I'm going to duck the hook into the hoop. I call it a hoop. It's just part of the stitch. And I'm going to grab from here this yarn and pull through the hoop again. So now I have 3 hoops of yarn on my hook. Now, instead of pulling it through this stitch right here, I'm going to yarn over again and I'm going to go through these 2 like that. And then, amazingly, I'm going to yarn over and pull it through these 2. And then I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to go into, pulled it out of shape a little bit, this hoop part right here. Smashed it a little bit. There we go. Yarn over, pull it through, yarn over, pull through the 2, yarn over, pull through the 2. Now I think you can definitely see why there would be more crocheted bits on this one. It would be wider because there's more to it. There's more yarn. So yarn over into the hoop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So this is what it ends up looking like as opposed to this. Let me get it where I think you can see maybe we'll keep going, and you'll see there's a big difference in the way what I've been doing and what this looked like. Here's the hoop that I'm going to push my hook through right here. So there it goes right there. Yarn over, pull through. I have 3 loops on the hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through these 2. This finished little strip right here, all the way done, ends up being wider than this one. And of course the stitches look a little different. Let me bring you down to this where you can really look at them. So you can see there's a twist at the top right here. There's that twist. And this is twisted, and if I turn it around, you can see there is some difference on this side as well. They're very elegant knots, and basically that's all you're doing is tying knots with a hook. Right there. I'll flip this, and you can see these knots are different. They're more like a cross stitch. You can see where this crosses. The one consistent thing, because I'm going into the hoop, is this has that pretty V finish on the top and on the bottom, and this has the same V on the top and the bottom. Right, so I'm working on my 5th. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 of these. I need one more. We are really close to being able to braid our project. Okay, I'm about to take that very last stitch into the very last loop. There we go. Make this long enough. I feel confident I'm not gonna pull it through. Cut some extra. Thread my plastic tapestry needle. You can get these, you know, just about anywhere. And then I just keep them. Sometimes you get them with another project. Just put them in rotation, use them, especially for projects like this. Okay. Now, I'm going to tie this in a knot. When you tie these knots, you don't want to pull this too tight because it will distort the end of your project. Okay, so we have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so I'm just using Ginger Snap's Christening Gowns book. And the thing is, you just want these right next to each other. You don't want them spread apart. They need to be right together and securely clipped. Okay, one more. I do like this color. I think Jessica chose a nice, kind of a nice neutral cool color. It's pretty, and I think it would look really nice in the winter time. So when you start the braiding process, I think you can see it all. We're going to ignore the first one, okay? We're going to take the second one and go over the top of the third one, like so. And we're going to slip it under the fourth one, just like a real honest to goodness braid, like this. Okay. And we're just going to leave this kind of hanging out over here for just a minute. Okay, now we're going to pick up this one and we're going to drop it under the second one. So we've got this one on top and then this one underneath. We're going to go over the top of this one. Basically, we are weaving this pattern. We're going to pull this under and then, so this is under and this needs to be over. So we're going to kind of what I call twist it, like so, and then adjust all of your braids like so, and then just leave that one hanging out. Then we're going to pick up this one and bring it underneath. It's going to be under, over, and then under, and then we're just going to twist this so that this one is now hanging out over here, and adjust your braid so everybody is even, like so. Okay, so then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to bring this one under. It will be under this one, over this one, under this one, okay, and over that one, and adjust. All right, so we're going to do it again. We're just going to trade places with these two, leave this one alone. So we've got our hands on this one. We're going to go over, and then we're going to go under, and then we're just going to twist it like so. Make sure everybody is kind of staying the same, the way they should. If you want to, this might be a little bare. We can pull these up like so. And I recommend that you do it before you get too far away from, you know, if there's a spot you need to fix, go ahead and fix it. You know, you can see this one's coming through here. This one is coming through here. It's easier to fix it now than to fix it later if it needs to be adjusted. And it will. It will need a little adjusting here and there. All right, so far it looks pretty good. So again, we're going to take this one and trade places with this one, just like this. So this is underneath. We're going to go over the top of this one, under this one, and twist that one under. Make sure everybody stays flat. Okay. So now we're looking at this. We're going to trade places. So they just go like that, and I'm now working with this one. This goes over, under, and trade places. Over, oh, goes on top. Right. Okay. And yes, it will get a little hard to work with down here at the very end, but that you can do it. Yep, you can. Now I am going to go ahead and thread this up. I'm not going to crochet these together. That's not the type of headband that this is. There are some that you actually do crochet together, but not this one. So we're going to rethread the plastic tapestry needle. Okay, it would be a single strand, not double. So we're ready to go. Okay, so trade places like so. Then this goes over, under, and these two get twisted like so. And we're just going to try to keep working until we can no longer really effectively do anything, right? I think I'm going to go ahead and use my sewing clips. Okay. Well, okay, so what happened is I was finishing up this one and I was just enough off camera, out of frame, that I could not possibly in good conscience show you that. So I finished up the 5 of the double crochet strands. That's backwards. And I decided that I'm going to keep this in frame so I can show you the way that I end up, you know, fastening these all together when I have finished the braid. Okay, so I've taken off this clip and I've made one more twist, like so, like this. You know, and if you can get one more braid, then that's even better. So I think maybe I can, yeah, we'll do it like so. So I'm gonna put this tapestry needle in on the back side right here. This is the back, this is the front. And I'm going to weave in to the front and back to the back, and then back to the front, and one more to the back like this. I want to pull this yarn. I'm going to leave a long-ish tail. I just want to know that it's not going to come out, and I have something to tie a knot to when I come back the other way. Okay, got that. Okay, I'm going to remove this clip, and I have a loose one of my strands on the front, so I know that I need to take this needle and weave into this one as well, like so, and just pull this to the back. Okay, now I'm going to cross this one over. Is that what it would normally do? No, it's not what it would normally do. This would be here, like so, right. So basically, you're just going to need to be able to look at the front and determine where your 5 strands would go, and then just stitch them down in that order. If, for example, this one isn't somehow attached to this one, isn't somehow attached to this one, etc., etc. They just all kind of need to be stitched together at the end. And then I'm going to turn it over, and you just kind of, you know, manipulate it so that it looks right. It's kind of an odd concept. I like this style of headband because for me this is much easier, but there are headbands that are actually crocheted rather than woven on the end, and I think you can see I'm just kind of doing a whip stitch over the very edge of my 5 crocheted strands. I don't know what else to call them. Like so. Trim these off. Okay, and then I'm going to be mean to it and pull and check, make sure everybody's, yep. Okay, so here it is, stitched as much as we could get it at this particular point. So the next step is to attach these 2 ends together. And you can do that a number of ways. You can just go back and forth, which I didn't do on this one, but I will do on this one. I am going to put a rose on this one because this one is for Candice. I won't make it a permanent rose, but she can take it off if she wants to. But I feel certain she would like to have a rose. Okay, so what am I doing? I'm getting some more yarn on my tapestry hook. I'm probably going to need, yeah, that about does it right there. Okay. Now I need to remember what is the right side, what is the wrong side. And at this point, it could be, I think, this looks like a good outside. All right. Gotta get these guys where they will meet up. Okay. All right, so on the inside, I'm going to go through a stitch, and I'm going to go through a stitch on the other side. I'm going to leave a tail on the inside, and now I'm just going to go back and forth across here. There we go. It's a little harder. Okay. All right, now tie the two strands into a knot. Like so. All right, so we're going to pin this from this side. We don't want this safety pin to get caught in the wearer's hair, so I'm pinning it up here on the top, but between the headband and the rose there. Okay, that pin might be a little bit big, it's showing, but we could, there we go. Oh, easy to hide with the rose. All right, so here is the headband with the rose on it. Here is the little purpley gray one, and then this gorgeous shade of, what is it called? Blue Stone, I think. Yeah, Blue Stone 07. And I will say that this took me about an hour, and this one took less than an hour, even though there's more crocheting involved. And I think it's just, you know, all part of that, the more you do it, that bell curve thing. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Here they are. And if you wanted to wear it with the rose on, you know, knot on it and this on the back, that would be the top. And same thing, this would be the top. And if you want to compare, this is my weird wonky baby double stitch, and this is what I believe to be a true double stitch. Okay. All right, so now I can finish editing and I'll get this video put up. I am going to be working on the advent calendar. I can't wait to get this done. I have so much other stuff to take care of with regard to this. It's just sewing, but it's a lot. So anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please consider doing so. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.